if we're talking about code, if the code on its own motivates, I don't think so, because there is a very big difference with between the code that is done for YouTube. For the code for YouTube tutorials is a certain style, and many people were saying like, I have my own coding style. And I was trying to explain that it's not a coding style; it's just a code that was optimized for YouTube. Optimized for YouTube. This is a very important
Yeah.
term, because in YouTube, you need to make the code as simple as possible. You don't need to
Yeah.
care about some possible production issues, because it's not intended for production. On YouTube, the code should be as didactic as possible, and
Yeah.
being didactic is the exact emphasis I'm trying to do all the time. And let's say it's not that clearly seen in my web scraping tutorials unless every single line of code is commented. So that's I didn't even invent that. I saw that in Trevor Media's videos. So when he was writing a web app, every single route he handles when the HTTP request is coming, he was just giving a commentary above. So that's his style.
Yeah.
That's not my style even. So commanding literally every single line of code. So its code starts being like a story, and then I started doing this in my chess programming as well. And in chess programming, this concept I'm currently talking about is visible much better in terms of so you can write chess engine for to be the strongest engine in the world, to have a small source code, yeah, just to be tiny ones.
Yeah.
But also, what nobody has done this before me. No one tried to write a chess engine that would be incredibly easy to understand, because if you're not aware about the concepts of chess programming and you just say have a look at the source code of Stockfish, even if you're an experienced programmer, you would hardly understand what's going on there,
Yeah.
because that's the big issue. And when people are reading my code, they especially the code that is written in C, I have made really many commentaries below those videos, like, even though I don't know C, your tutorials are great, because it's not about how to code in C, it's about how to code chess engines. And I'm really
Yeah.
proud of that,
It's
because
the problem solving. It's not. It's
yeah,
more about. It's your
so
approach to solving the problem.
absolutely. So the programming language is just a tool. You
Yeah.
don't need to emphasize the programming language if you're doing a YouTube video. You need to uh, present the topic you're currently talking about. So that's what I've been doing. This has a limitation though. So currently I've realized that I used to this YouTube format so much that I can no longer do code that would be kind of good for production, let's say. And that's, by the way, that's one of the core reasons, just to answer the very first question, that's
Yeah.
the core reasons why I no longer want to write the production code, because the purposes for production code, the requisites for production code and for YouTube code are totally different. You need to
Yeah.
put the emphasis on absolutely different things within these two situations. So as far as I'm really stick to this YouTube format, the best use my code can bring is didactic purposes. So it's not for inspiring, it's for didactic purposes. It's just to show how things work. So that's my goal, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And because yeah, as you say, there's a very big difference between. I've seen this description. I don't know if it translates, but I've seen it on some job applications, some job adverts in the UK, and they say they don't want a lone wolf coder. Uh,
Yeah.
lone wolf. So a
Lone
lone
wolf.
wolf.
In Russian, we call this absolutely the same. Lone wolf. Wolf.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have absolutely the same idiom for this.
And I actually think I'm a lone wolf coder, and I think you are maybe. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
The matter of being lone wolf
It's
is not,
freedom.
it's
Freedom.
freedom. It's all, yeah,
Mm.
exactly. It's all about your what do you think about the inappropriate business interaction? That's,
Yeah, yeah,
what's meant. That's what it means.
yeah,
So yeah, I had a friend. I still have a friend who works in an outsourced company in my country,
yeah.
and he earns much more money than I do, but he
Mm.
is forced to follow this kind of development guides and principles they
Yeah.
are teaching. So I'm
Agile and all that
I'm
stuff.
so annoyed of that. So just
Mm.
it's not the matter the way how you code derives from the way how you live. Yeah, you can put this as
Yeah.
a quotation back again.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have so many quotes. People could write a book of all of our quotes.
Well, it's incomparable compared to those quotes I'm getting from your emails, especially the containing swearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would never be that. Okay.
No, no. Yeah, so I wrote down a couple of things while you were chatting because I thought they were important to pick up on. So yeah, the lone wolf coder we've talked about, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just personal freedom, isn't it? You can do anything, and you're not restricted by, oh no, somebody else writes that bit, somebody else writes that bit, and then you're just trapped in the middle, and you just feel, oh, this is so boring. And I know, I think years ago, probably maybe 2 years ago, when I was going through one of my textbooks, I did the chapter on unit testing. In unit testing, that's BS, isn't it? It's IBI.
Absolutely. Well,
Well, to us it is, to us. Maybe not to people out there, but
yeah, I think I clearly got what you're trying to ask about. Probably, yeah. So, like maybe you didn't even say this, but I believe that's the end. That's the good question. So let's start with the unit testing, and
yeah,
then we drop back to the difference, like lone wolf versus
yeah,
corporate developer. Let's say. So,
yeah,
uh, uh, unit tests or object-oriented programming or whatever other concept. It's the matter of the environment where you're working. So, do you know why classes and object-oriented programming actually appeared in this world? Do you know the reason why?
so you could split code up into teams.
Yes,
Yeah.
but why? You're asking this question. Why? Why do
Corporations, big
corporate?
business.
What exactly in big business? So why exactly? So what's the
Oh, offshoring, so you can get code written overseas cheaper, or
the idea is very simple. You need to split the responsibility for the entire project
yeah,
between many people. So every person is working on his own kind of splitted part, and then we
yeah,
need to establish the interaction between this kind of splitted part. So in the case, if every splitted part is a class which has the interface like set, get, right? This methods
yeah,
to interact with this sort of a class. Every single class in particular serves as a sort of a black box, and the personality of the developer working on this sort of a class can be expressed there at some point. But it's all the matter of building this proper interface. So in that
yeah,
case, different classes built by different developers can bring up all together and involve into a
yeah.
more complicated system. So the
It's a bit
idea,
like now what the buzzword at the moment is microservices, isn't it?
absolutely. So I just want to say that the core idea behind why to
Yeah,
do object-oriented programming, it's not because of programming, it's because of
no,
human resources.
yeah,
But very important to understand. So we need object-oriented programming only for teams. We
yeah,
literally don't really need object-oriented programming for a single guy. Well, you can argue that, I don't know, like Stockfish is using object-oriented programming. Many people's are, oh my God, how to say this without swearing? Uh, some people very
sheep.
well,
So we almost do it by default. We learn object oriented programming, and then we just do it because we know it.
yeah, and that's the problem. Doing something because you know it. It's like you see a beautiful girl. It's
Yeah,
good, but it doesn't mean that you need to her, right? It's not. You don't need to do this. She's beautiful. But you don't need to do anything to her, right?
no,
And
no.
object-oriented programming is like, okay, here is a cute girl, so I need to go and do my job.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that's the problem. So you use this just because you know this, but you don't even know why do you actually need this.
And
So
you've said why. You've said in the past 2 minutes. You've said why so many times, and that's brilliant.
yeah, that's my reference to your brilliant video. You know, like, uh,
It's it's the it's the question we must keep asking.
yeah, absolutely. I watched this from the very beginning and up to the very end on my own first, and then I did this almost like from scratch again when I've been making the translation for
Yeah,
Russian
because
speaking.
like you said earlier, we as we start off like children, and then our minds get violated. And I think I don't ask why, or I probably do, but as adults, we don't. None of us ask why like we used to when we were children. And I
Yeah,
think we need to. We always need to keep trying to go back there.
absolutely. That's because the patterns our consciousness is tied up within
Yeah.
doesn't assume that question to be ever asked.
Mm.
And no one actually is teaching us to make our consciousness flexible. Instead, the globalization, the overall world's globalization, leads to the fact of the consciousness being like, I don't know how to call this in English properly, like
Standardized.
standardized. Yeah, standardized,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah.
They need to be standardized because that's the only way how to manipulate the mass of people, like
Yeah.
mass people.
And when you standardize something, it makes things more predictable.
Absolutely, and they try
Mm.
to make this 100% predictable because only in
Yeah.
that case they can count their income basically. Because
Absolutely.
if it's not
We'll,
predictable,
we'll talk about things being predictable in a minute because we'll get onto machine learning. And
okay,
being
okay.
able to predict things is, yeah, there's so many things about being able to predict things. If you can predict something, it helps your profits. And obviously, that's what the world is now about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is nothing wrong with predicting, and there is nothing wrong with the data-driven decisions as well.
Mm.
The problem is arising when you're becoming a victim of this sort of a process. As long as you're
Yeah.
not a victim, if you can monetize this, if you're a machine learning expert working on an interesting project, some people have a natural attitude to, oh my God, what a brilliant phrase I just said.
Go on.
People have a natural attitude. I usually don't say that. Oh man, thank you.
Did you mean aptitude? Attitude or aptitude?
I think attitude.
Because there's also aptitude with a
Uh,
P.
let
Aptitude.
me Google Translate quickly. You make me feel blush now. And this should be. Hold on. Oh, my computer is the
I'm just
internet.
going to pause it for 1 second, and then I'll be back.
No, no,
Just
attitude, attitude. Exactly. I said exactly what I meant. Attitude.
okay. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about aptitude. You looked up aptitude as well as attitude, yeah?
Yeah. So it's definitely it's
Okay.
attitude, not aptitude. It's
Oh,
attitude.
okay. Yeah, because in England, over here, we have a thing called aptitude tests, which
No,
tests.
I just
No.
checked it out. No, it's a little bit
Okay.
different. So I was talking exactly about the attitude. So for those
Uh,
people, so are you recording already? Already?
yes, we're recording. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for those people who actually has a natural attitude to this machine learning stuff and data-driven decision, it feels like it's really natural. And I knew the guys. I knew one guy, at least one guy, who was really up with data science, and he loved that. He really was interested in that. And by the way, my client that we're working on real estate property projects as well. He's a machine learning scientist. His data scientist down to his bones. I don't know how to say this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's very like very. Uh,
Which country is he from?
he's
Just out
from
of.
he's from Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh wow, wow.
He's from Switzerland, yeah. We've never been talking in like voiceover mode. By the way, very interesting thing. So many people think that if you are freelancing, that you need to go for this like voiceover meetings. But I need to say that when I've been working on Upwork, I had these meetings quite pretty often. But when I started working by email with no voiceover calls and
Yeah.
with the clients from YouTube, email was literally enough. And I said that I can go for a personal video call, but I just take some extra fees for that. So I will like turn the hourly paid tracker. So if you want to
Yeah, yeah,
like $50 per hour and we're done, no problem. Yeah. And people
yeah,
say like, okay, I just can explain what I needed via email, so no need for going for this. It's quite,
mm,
no one wants to pay for this sort of
no.
things.
Well, and also we have time zones. Time zones mess up video calls because it's always it's wrong
Yeah,
time of day and so on. Emails, you just. Plus I can then work it late at night and send them an email when I'm finished, and then 3 hours later, it's their morning, and they're already at work logged on, and there's that shrink.
Yeah,
It works so much better.
that's a real mess. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, like if the time zones is an issue, then definitely it's like not the way to go. I remember I've been working with sort of an American client. It was a
Yeah,
Chinese, but like Chinese guy, but he lived in America, I guess, Canadian.
yeah,
And it was very he liked this sort of a things. So we always had those issues like this voice over calls, like it's early morning, he woke up, he feels well, he just like drinks coffee.
yeah,
And in my country, like I'm already done after the tough working day. Like
yeah.
I want
You want to get?
to die. I want to die. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
okay, so what about the project? So how we go? So, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
kill me.